releases result for 2024 Senior School System Examination SSCE. Last on the news, elder statesman and chieftain of the Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Organization Afenifere Pa Ayodele Adebanjo died at the age of 96. From the international, Russian drone with high explosive war hits the Kurnbil nuclear power plant in Kyiv region in Ukraine. The delays and more coming your way soon. Thank you for joining us at this time. Details of the news. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Addis Ababa, the capital, to participate in the 38th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government. The meeting is slated for February 14 to 18, 2025. Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, disclosed this in a statement he signed in the early hours of Friday, titled President Tinubu arrives at for AU Summit. Two guard later briefed President Tinubu about the summit and some diplomatic wins for the country. A session that stretched until about 2 a.m. Friday. Among those were the re-election of Bankole Adeoye as African Union Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security. Nigeria also gained its seat on the African Union Peace and Security Council, which in Tuggar's word reaffirmed Nigeria's leadership and commitment to peace and security on the continent. This year's AU Summit, under the theme Justice for Africans and People of African Descent through Repatriation, focuses on reparatory justice and racial equality. Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima said posterity will judge the Northeast Development Commission (NEDC) fairly for going beyond infrastructure development to investing in education and green technology to accelerate senior secondary education program. It described ASSEP as a game changer in the age and time, pointing out that education is the greatest leveler in which even the son of a peasant could become a celebrated icon. Senator Shettima spoke during the meeting with the management team of the NEDC, who came to brief on the level of work on the ASSEP project at the Presidential Abuja. The Vice President applauded generative platforms introduced by ASSEP, like the virtual VR headsets, saying they are going along in revolutionizing the learning experience, offering numerous benefits for students, educators and institutions because of enhanced engagement and motivation. In his remarks, the Minister of State for Regional Development, Uban Megari Al-Muhammadu, said ASSEP is an initiative aimed at enhancing secondary education across the region, which aligns with the administration's broader agenda to improve learning standards. On his part, the Managing Director of NEDC, Alhaji Mohammed Al-Khali, highlighted the Commission's intervention in the educational sector, specific focus on human capital development across the region.
Education is the greatest. Through education, the son of a peasant can be a celebrity icon. In other parts of the world, they are embracing digital educational tools because of the numerous benefits it offers. Knowledge to personalize learning, to increase accessibility, because BR handset enables students to engage in remote learning.
And the program is designed for us to transform learning outcomes in the Northeast, given the background of the insurgency. So it's how do we transform learning outcomes? How do we work with children that are in the transition age, going into higher institutions, and get them into higher institutions to study the courses in the sciences so we can foster development.
Well, this is also aligned with many good things this president, as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, is doing. You know about the loans fund and how it has changed the landscape. It has given indigent people the opportunity to access funding, go to schools, and you know it's the multiplier effect on security, taking people off the streets who's in danger in the society.
Your Excellency, you encourage us to start training teachers and retrain teachers in the region, because after insurgency, the stock of teachers in the region has drastically reduced or exponentially crashed to a level whereby over 80% of teachers we have were not in existence again.
Now to the story. The National Assembly on Friday explained the rationale behind the existence of two separate budgets being run by the federal government. Recall that the budget currently in operations in Nigeria, the 2024 budget estimated that is expected to terminate by June this year, and the 2025 budget on Thursday by the National Assembly. Correspondent Kolojo reports that the Senate Committee on Appropriation, Senator Miliko, addressing Senate correspondents, blamed the development on procurement process.
2024 budget capital, which has been extended to June of 2025, and the one that has just been passed, the 2025 budget. So we have only two budgets that is working, and we are in consciousness of we don't want to have, because the reason why having two budget presidents as a result of the procurement process, and I believe we are doing something in that regard to ensure that once the budget is passed, procurement should commence, so that in no time, once the procurement is concluded, funding of those the budget can also commence. So we are in consciousness of that. But for now, we are operating the budget, the one that is ending June 2025, and the one we are extending till, and the 2025 that has just been passed.
On the issue of parameter, Senator Olamilekon states that the parameter that the nation with be maintained, and for the source of revenue by tampering with the parameter source of revenue have to be affected. He believes that the source of revenue for the budget remains the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Customs, independent revenue agencies of government.
Because I know that there are various sources of funding for every project. For the rail project you mentioned about cannot only be financed by the federal government. It is like a joint partners kind of transaction, where the federal government provides some funds while the other counterpart will provide the remaining funds. So I want to know what is the position before any pronouncement. As chairman appropriation, I have to be careful if I want to go along or tag along with him that yes, the area where the corridor was omitted, and I want to actually know what is really happening. Has that contract been awarded, or was it as a result of funding? Which contractor is handling this that has been awarded, and why have not they been working on that particular corridor?
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has urged the National Assembly to enact laws prohibiting acts, including the possession of large sums of money within polling areas, to curb vote buying and selling. Speaking at a consultative meeting with security operatives and the Technical Committee on Electoral Laws Amendment organized by the Joint Senate and House on Electoral Matters in collaboration with NDC and FCDO in Abuja, INEC representatives noted that politicians often justify carrying large amounts of cash by citing agent party payment and logistical expenses. INEC's Director of Litigation and Prosecution, Tenimo Mohammed, suggested a limit of 50,000 naira, while Ondo Resident Electoral Commission Oluwatoyin Babalola proposed 30,000 naira on electoral offences. INEC officials stated that the Commission currently lacks the capacity to prosecute such crimes effectively.
Of vote buying, as canvassed by ICC, the National Assembly needs to enact specific legislation prescribing certain acts or prohibiting possession of certain amount of money within the polling area. As I once said, the politician always argue that yes, we need to pay our party agents. So nobody should carry more than 50,000.
We should fix an amount of money that falls within the range of what you need, maybe to buy a bottle of drink and transport yourself back to your house. I do not think, because people vote within their area. If you have 2,000 naira for transport, 1,000 for a drink and biscuits, I don't think anybody should possess more than 3,000 naira within the vicinity.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police in charge of election planning and evaluation, representing the Inspector General of Police, Abayomi Shogunle, highlighted politics as a major challenge for law enforcement during elections and called for better support in this area.
We are going to look at all these things so that we can streamline our laws to make sure it is easily implementable. And we now call back at the end of the day to let people know we are going to improve on our awareness program. The political parties, INEC, civil societies, everybody must be involved in that we educate the people. Sometimes you talk to someone and you're talking about elections, you say, no, the way we did it in MPN. Who is talking about MPN period now? We are talking about new acts. 2022 is out of the way. We're going to have the 2025. Nobody the 2022 complex of MPND.
It is a known fact when the electoral act of 2022 was made, the belief was to put it to practice during the 2023 elections, realize that there are still a lot of gaps that need to be filled. It is crucial to acknowledge the trust deficit in various parties, particularly concerning security issues. These concerns include the protection of ballot boxes, the safe transport of election results from polling units to polling centers, and manipulation of results in different areas.
In cases, issues of logistical challenges, in terms of the vehicles, resources needed to move the men to where they are actually headed. And that's why we make use of vehicles from road transport a lot. But I want to be, if we have patrol vehicles, apart from using the patrol vehicles for normal duties when there are elections, we can also make use of such patrol vehicles for deployment of men case.
His opening remarks is the importance of maintaining peace and order before, during and after election, highlighting the role of security agencies in ensuring a violence-free electoral process. The Senate chairman on electoral matters acknowledged that while the 2022 Electoral Act was initially considered comprehensive, its implementation during the 2023 election revealed gaps that needs to be addressed. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Kudirat Kekereekun, approved the appointment of Kabir Eniola Kambi as the acting chief registrar of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The appointment takes effect from February 13, 2025, following the retirement of attained the mandatory retirement age of 60 years in public service. News of the appointment was contained in a press statement issued on Friday in Abuja. Mohammed Alfa Umar, Deputy Director, Information and Public Relations at the Apex Court. Prior to his appointment, Akambi served as the Deputy Chief Registrar in charge of the Election Petition Tribunal Unit at the Court of Appeal Headquarters, Abuja. With over 20 years of experience in judicial administration, legal reforms and public service, he has made significant contributions to the modernization of Nigeria's judicial system. Akambi obtained his law degree from University of Ibadan in 2001 and was called the Nigerian bar in 2003 after attending the Nigeria Law School in Lagos. You're still on to the news at Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Magistrate Ado Ekiti now defamation charges by the police against rights activist Daily Farotimi. For that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. The National Examinations Council (NECO) has released the results for the 2024 School Certificate Examination SSCE External, which was conducted from November 14 to December 14, 2024. At a press conference held on Friday at the NECO headquarters in Minna, the Council Registrar and Chief Executive Professor Dantene Ibrahim Rushishe revealed that 86,067 candidates had registered for the examination, with 84,799 actually participating. Rushishe reported that 57,114 candidates, representing 67.35%, obtained 5 credits or more, including English language and mathematics.
Is 86,067, 44,988, representing 52.27%, and 41,079, representing 7.72%. The total number of candidates as is 4,799 candidates.
Addressing the issue of examination malpractice, Rushishe noted the reduction in number of malpractice cases compared to the previous year. It revealed that 6,160 candidates were involved in various forms of malpractice, a 27.7% decrease from 2023 to 8,518 cases. The NECO boss also mentioned that several exam supervisors and centers had been recommended for blacklisting.
Who got 5 credits and above, including English language and mathematics, is 57,114 candidates, representing 67.35%. Also, 70,711 candidates, representing 83.39%.
Now to other stories. Elder statesman and chieftain of the Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Organization, Afenifere, Pa Ayodele Adebanjo, has died at the age of 96. Adebanjo died on Friday morning at his residence in Lekki, Lagos State. The family confirmed his death in a statement made available to newsmen on Friday. The statement was jointly signed by his children. The family also disclosed that consultations are ongoing with Adebanjo's friends, associates and various interest groups across the country and beyond to finalize plans for a befitting funeral. According to the statement, details of the funeral arrangement will be announced in due course, adding that a condolence register has been opened at his residence in Lagos and his country home in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. The former organizing secretary of the action group is survived by his 94-year-old wife, Chief Christy Ayo Adebanjo, along with children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And still on that, former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Friday paid tribute to the late Chief Ayo Adebanjo, describing him as a great man, a committed nationalist and effective representative of his people, and his unpretentious personality. Obasanjo said it was with deep sense of personal loss that he received the sad news of the passing of his beloved friend and senior brother, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, while in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where he is currently attending the 38th ordinary session of the African Union Assembly. The former president disclosed this in a tribute made available to newsmen by Special Assistant on Media, Kehinde Akinyemi. Obasanjo stated that the unfortunate news came as a shock, lamenting that Adebanjo's passing was undoubtedly a huge loss, not only to him and the good state, but also to the country as a whole. He further revealed the unfortunate news came as a shock because the last time he visited him on the 3rd of February 2025 at his Lekki residence, though he was in a fragile state, he had no inkling he would leave so soon. Obasanjo noted that Adebanjo's commitment to a thriving democracy in our dear country, his tenacity in the face of daunting odds and mortal risks to his life is well known and marks him out as a courageous political leader and true patriot. He also commiserated with Adebanjo's immediate and extended family on their painful loss and prayed that God grant them, his friends and admirers, the fortitude to bear the horrible loss. Now to the story teased earlier. A magistrate court sitting in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State has struck out defamation charges filed by the police against rights activist Dele Farotimi at the instance of Afe Babalola. The Nigerian police filed the charges after receiving Afe Babalola's petition accusing Farotimi of defaming him in December 2024. Chief Magistrate Abayomi Adeosun struck out the case following request by the police prosecutor Samson Oshobo that nominal complainant Afe Babalola has agreed to discontinue the case. Counsel to Dele Farotimi, Kemi Adejabi, confirmed that they served him with a notice of discontinuation and the defense legal team has agreed.
When a court makes an order in a pending case, and then the pending case is either struck out or dismissed, every order made pursuant to that case is also struck out and dismissed. So if the order was made pursuant to this case, then that order is no longer existing.
Now to other matters. Fire outbreak has destroyed the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) office in Gwandabawa local government area of Sokoto State, damaging critical electoral materials. The incident, which occurred in the early hours of Tuesday, February 11, 2025, was reported by the INEC Administrative Secretary in the state. Among the items lost in the inferno were 558 ballot boxes, 186 voting cubicles, 186 election bags, and several registration area center rack materials, including water tanks, sleeping mats, and plastic buckets. INEC officials suspect a sudden power surge may have triggered the fire, but security agencies are currently investigating the exact cause. Fortunately, no injuries or casualties were recorded. In a statement signed by National Commissioner Samuel Lumeko, INEC assured the public that efforts are underway to secure a temporary facility in the area to prevent disruptions to electoral activities. The Lagos Waste Management Authority has warned property owners, agents and private occupiers in the state to desist from illegal recycling and scavenging in unlicensed facilities. The Managing Director of LOMA, Dr. Muyiwa Gbadegeshin, gave the warning in a statement on Friday in Lagos. Gbadegeshin also urged them to halt indiscriminate sorting, dumping, storing and trading of recycled waste in their facilities and in public spaces around them. He noted that such activities not only degrade the city's aesthetic appeal, but would also disrupt the rights of property owners, contributing to serious environmental hazards. According to him, Part 3, Section 85 and 86 of the law makes the deposition of recyclable waste in unregistered, undesignated locations strictly prohibited. He added that LOMA will take the necessary steps to enforce compliance, including prosecuting violators and shutting down offending facilities. He urged residents and stakeholders to utilize all the licensed recycling facilities and registered waste collectors to ensure proper waste management in Lagos. He enjoined Lagos residents to report illegal activities through LOMA's official channels. The proposed plans by the Benue State government to construct bypass road across the Wukaram roundabout in Metropolis has gained momentum as both the federal and state government officials look at the geotechnical survey of the soil. While activities is expected to commence fully in 2 weeks' time after the survey has been carried out, the Director of Civil Engineering and the Commissioner for Work said the essence is to ensure every bit of the test is carried out in line with specifications, that when the project is completed, it will ease traffic congestion. The project is being handled by a Chinese construction company already constructing Makodi Otukpo North Road. The State Asset Recovery Agency says it has recovered over 60 vehicles taken away by persons who worked under the immediate past Governor Godwin Obaseki's administration. This was disclosed by the chairman Edo Asset Recovery Agency, Kelly Okongboa, while briefing journalists in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Addressing journalists after displaying 2 vehicles, with one is said to have been returned by the former Chief Justice of the state, the chairman calls for information to make their job easier.
So far so good, this community tracks last year, we've done our best. We were able to recover 60-something vehicle. And by the grace of God, the community is still much inactive. We are still doing the best, and we'll make sure we get a reliable information, because without information, we cannot work. And that's what we have been begging the general public to give us more information.
Speaking further, he said a drama played out in the courts last year led to the return of the SUV by the former Chief Justice of the state.
2 vehicles, one Prado Jeep and one Elos. One was brought back by the former Commissioner of Justice. You can recall what happened in the court last year. Yeah. And you saw the drama that played out. And by the grace of God, with the intervention of the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Kemuzia, who intervened and promised the committee that the vehicle will be returned back to this committee.
You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, moving on with the rest of the stories, clerics from various Pentecostal congregations nationwide have made a clarion call to Nigerians to unite and maintain peace, guiding the nation towards a more promising future. National President of the Pentecostal Church of Nigeria, Wale Oke, who delivered a message during the ongoing 18th National Biannual Conference held in Abuja, also implored Nigerians, particularly church leaders, to exemplify love towards all generations and followers, and in the PFN to further fulfill its divine purpose on earth. He urged Christians to remain steadfast in their commitment to contribute to the nation's development.
Called Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN. Baba, we honor you. We shall honor you while life shall last, giving glory to God for your life. Give the a big round of applause.
Other clergies who addressed the conference emphasized the importance of Nigerian youth drawing closer to God and engaging in unwavering prayers for personal growth and the advancement of the country.
We are all here. We know what we are going through, and we have expectation that we are not where we're supposed to be as a nation. And all of us are feeling the impact from 1960 that we got independence, and then things started going and down and down. And we thought we were supposed to have been in a better place than this, with the endowment of God in this nation, in all of the states of the country.
Doing right now in Nigeria. Well, you all know that the past administration has brought down the psyche of this nation, when banditry and all sorts of vices riddle our nation. But we thank God because it is the dawn of a new era.
Osun State government says efforts are on top gear to address the problem of malnutrition in the state. The State Commissioner for Economic Planning, Budget and Development, Professor Maruf Ademola Adeleke, said the state government has put necessary mechanisms in place to curb malnutrition in the state. He said this in Osogbo, the state capital, during a two-day workshop on validation of Osun State Multi-Sectoral Plan of Action for Food and Nutrition covering 2025 to 2029. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Alice Yetunde Eson, said the objective is to harmonize all stakeholders' input to facilitate finalization and production of the strategic document, which is meant to guide the implementation of food and nutrition policy in the state.
It is in the bid to address the food and nutrition structure in Osun that led to the extensive consultations with relevant stakeholders for the development of a multi-sectoral plan of action, which is, if well implemented, will greatly contribute to the realization of optimal food security and enhanced nutrition status.
And the primary aim is that at the end of the day, when our scores are looked at within the Southwest and within the country, Nigeria, and globally, we are among those states that we have a very good score in food and nutrition. Again, Mr. Governor, through the Honorable Commissioner, have told us that whatever it's required for us to make sure that the citizens of this state.
We have developed the Osun State policy on food and nutrition, but it was observed that without proper implementation guideline, we may not be able to achieve the targets in that policy. That necessitated our reaching out to our partners, UNICEF, FDI, GPDMC, and we collaborate together to develop the multi-sectoral action plan for food and nutrition, which is to cover 2025-2029.
Climate experts have called for more care, especially in refuse dumping, as it affects the environment negatively if not properly checked and controlled. They are also calling on government to ensure that recycling of some waste product is put in place so that it could be a source of income. Galaxy TV was in Yakusak sent in this report.
Some sewage dumping site in Kaduna has been converted to a major business venture where scavengers generate manure using the decomposed sewage for agricultural use and source of livelihood. The initiative has been ongoing for a while and discovered that about 150 scavengers have been engaged themselves for the economic empowerment in the dump site. However, environmentalist Gloria Kasang-Bulus, who also doubles as team lead for Extension Rebellion, said although there are economic and environmental advantages to those activities, she observed that health measures were not considered by the scavengers, while some parts of the sewage were being burnt against environmental precautions.
Very sad that we have this kind of dump site in the community, and aside looking at the impact that is coming out from this dump site, we're seeing smoke coming out, we're seeing all sorts of refuse, we're seeing plastics, bags, we're seeing plastic bottles, and quite a different types of waste there. Is really very sad, and interacting with the community have also shown that the communities are not finding it funny.
This large deposit of illegal waste dump site is located just in the middle of residential areas close to the central market within the Kaduna state capital. Some of the communities living close to the waste dump complained that the unapproved refuse dump site have existed for several years and recently caused a fire incident at a nearby primary school. Zinta Istifanus, a climate change advocate, therefore urged the government to take drastic action by clearing the site and stop perpetrators from the inappropriate practice due to the environmental hazard caused by the refuse dump.
Value chain that exists around gathering this manure and selling them and using them actually to make healthier food for production. And then this one here actually was the other side where you could always see the concern that this is bringing to communities right in the heart of Kaduna Metropolis. It is a very massive concern. You are hearing health issues. You are hearing about even safety issues as regards what we see.
Particularly, yes, I'm actually impressed with what I saw there, but it also shows that this is not just the government, because we also saw that there were independent persons that have come there to also get some manure for their, for some agricultural purposes. Horticulturists and quite a lot, so it shows you that there is waste in wealth actually, and so I'm really very impressed. But one thing that makes me worried is the way the scavengers walk there without any proper protection.
Climate experts Gloria Kasang-Bulus lamented the existence of refuse dump in the midst of residential areas inside the heart of the state. She emphasized that climate change issues need to be taken seriously in line with strict adherence to global environmental best practices.
The Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has announced the establishment of a task team in every state for of the ministry's properties and lands, as well as oversee the collection of ground rents on these assets. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Shuaib Belgore, stated in the statement on Friday following an interactive session with federal controllers of housing from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja. According to Belgore, the tax team will comprise the federal controller in each state, representatives from the state government and the Federal Housing Authority, with the Ojo of the Federation serving as chairman. He emphasized that the initiative aims to enhance oversight and ensure efficiency in managing the ministry's assets. He further highlighted the importance of regular supervision and open communication among controllers to keep the ministry updated on housing-related activities across various states. To improve the tax team's effectiveness, but ensure that necessary resources will be provided to facilitate their work. Additionally, a portion of the revenue generated from ground rate collection will be allocated for field work and evaluation. Now, we move to the international desk for more news.
Hello and welcome to the foreign news. A Russian drone with a high explosive warhead has hit the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in the Kyiv region, Ukraine said, amid warnings by the military that Russia launched 133 unmanned vehicles against the country. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the drone strike significantly damaged the protective containment shelter and started a fire which has been put out. Kremlin responded, saying Russia does not hit nuclear sites. Radiation levels at the site have not increased, according to Zelensky, an International Atomic Energy Agency. The IAEA did not attribute blame, but said the drone strike occurred at 1:50 a.m. local time and that there was no indication of a breach in the inner containment shell, a protective cover built around the fourth reactor of the plant. The Ukrainian Air Force said it shot down 73 drones and 58 others did not reach their target, likely due to electronic countermeasures. It did not specify what happened to the 2 remaining drones it said Russia had launched. The attacks took place as world leaders and diplomats gathered for the start of the Munich Security Conference in a southern German city, which features Ukraine as one of the main items on the agenda. United States Vice President V.D. Vance is expected to meet Zelensky for talks that many will shed some light on planned U.S.-led negotiations with Russia that appear to sideline Ukraine and its European allies. Pope Francis was taken to the hospital on Friday morning for tests and to continue treatment for his ongoing bronchitis, the Vatican said. This morning, at the end of his audiences, Pope was admitted for some necessary diagnostic tests and to continue his treatment for bronchitis, which is still ongoing in a hospital environment, it said in a statement. Francis, who is 88, has been Pope since 2013 and has suffered from influenza and other health problems several times over the past 2 years. Earlier this month, Francis told pilgrims at a weekly audience that he was from a strong cold, which the Vatican later described as bronchitis. The Pope has been keeping up his daily schedule of appointments despite his illness, taking meetings at the Vatican residence where he lives. Before going to hospital on Friday, the Pope had an official meeting with Slovakian Prime Minister Fico. Francis suffered 2 falls recently at his Vatican residence, bruising his chin in December and injuring his arm in January. Rome's Gemelli Hospital, the largest in the city, has a special seat for treating popes. Francis spent 9 days there in June 2023 when he had surgery to repair an abdominal hernia. Donald Trump threatened to ramp up his economic assault on some of America's biggest trading partners, vowing to impose new tariffs on countries that target products made in the U.S. within weeks. The U.S. will impose reciprocal duties. We want a level playing field, he declared in the Oval Office, pledging to roll out a beautiful, simple system of new U.S. import duties that match those imposed by other countries. No new specific tariffs were announced, however, triggering a relief rally on Wall Street. Instead, Trump signed a presidential memorandum ordering the development of a comprehensive plan to address what the White House described as long-standing imbalances in the global economy. Americans could face some short-term disturbance if the U.S. imposes higher tariffs on foreign goods, Trump acknowledged. Prices could go up somewhat short-term, he said, but prices will also go down. The U.S. Commerce Department, now led by the billionaire Howard Lutnick, will conduct studies and report back to the president at the start of April. No exemptions will be offered from any reciprocal duties introduced under the new plan. Trump suggested it is the latest bid by Trump to strain Washington's trade ties with countries across the world, allies and rivals, alike, to obtain political and economic concessions. A press notice circulated by the Trump administration Administration promised it will take action to put the American worker first, improve the competitiveness in every area of industry, and reduce the trade deficit and bolster the economic and national security. Still on foreign news, India and the US have agreed to start talks to clinch an early trade deal and resolve their standoff over tariffs as New Delhi promised to buy more US oil, gas and military equipment and fight illegal immigration. The series of agreements emerged after talks between US President Donald Trump and Indian Minister Narendra Modi at the White House just hours after Trump rallied against the climate for U.S. businesses in India and unveiled a roadmap for reciprocal tariffs on countries that put duties on U.S. imports. The deal to resolve trade concerns could be done within the next 7 months, said India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. A joint statement after the meeting said Washington welcomed Delhi's recent steps to lower tariffs on select U.S. products and increase market access to U.S. farm products, while seeking to negotiate the initial segment of a trade deal by the fall of 2025. While both leaders had their perspective on tariffs, what is more remarkable is the fact that they have a way forward on this issue, Misri said. Some of the leaders' agreements are aspirational. India wants to increase by billions of dollars its purchases of U.S. defense equipment and may make Washington the #1 supplier of oil and gas, Trump said at a joint press conference with Modi. Delhi wants to double trade with Washington by 2030, Modi said. Long-planned cooperation on nuclear energy, also discussed by the leaders, faces ongoing legal challenges. Misri, the Indian official, later said the F-35 deal was a proposal at this point with no formal process on the way. At least 10 people have been killed and others wounded after a bomb struck a vehicle carrying laborers in southwestern Pakistan. An improvised explosive device IED hit the truck when it was traveling in the Hemman area of Balochistan province on Friday. Security forces have been battling a decades-long rebellion by separatist groups in impoverished Balochistan, with violence in the border region surging over the past 3 years. 10 mine workers were killed in an attack in Hardi district. Zari, a senior government official, told newsmen. Officials said the vehicle was carrying coal miners and that most of the victims were from the country's northwestern Swat Valley and other areas. Local government official Salem Tarin also told newsmen the blast was caused by IED, saying the victims were on their way to a market when the bomb hit. The region's Deputy Commissioner Hazrat Wali Aga told newsmen that 70 miners were in the truck when the bomb went off. Several people were injured and taken to a local hospital. A doctor at the facility told newsmen that 2 of the wounded were in critical condition. Anal is more than 160 kilometers from Quetta, the capital of Balochistan province. In a statement, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif reaffirmed his commitment to actively working towards eradicating the menace of terrorism from the country. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack. However, the Balochistan Liberation Army is the most active group in the region and often carries out deadly attacks against security forces or Pakistanis from other provinces. Finally, on foreign news, at least 6 people have been killed in a fire at a hotel construction site in South Korea's port city of Busan, where firefighters are still assessing damages. The fire broke out around mid-morning on Friday and to have quickly escalated. South Korea's Yonhap newsman. Busan City's fire service deployed 90 firefighters to put out the blaze and used helicopters to rescue workers trapped inside the multi-story building, including 14 from the rooftop. Television footage of the fire showed smoke pouring from the modern glass-fronted high-rise building, according to newsmen. More than 100 people were evacuated from the scene, but it was not immediately clear if all workers have been rescued. At least 7 people were injured in the fire, Yohan reports, although injuries are still being counted. South Korea's acting president Choi Sang-mok said all available personnel and equipment were being deployed to the active site. While the origin of the fire is still unknown, it has been linked in the media to materials stored on the first floor of the construction site. The hotel reportedly belongs to Bayan Tree, a luxury hotel and resort chain from Singapore. The blaze is the second major fire in Busan in recent weeks. On January 28, an Air Busan plane caught fire shortly after takeoff from Busan Gimhae International Airport, but all passengers and crew were safely evacuated. The fire was attributed to a portable battery pack stored in an overhead cabin of the plane. And that's all we have on the foreign news.
And that is all we have for you. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Irebami Salako. To have a wonderful weekend.